Hey folks, Dr. Joe Esposito here. Hope everybody's having a wonderful day. What we're going to talk about today, and it's kind of a little personal show I'm going to do here today, something that has a personal impact in my life, is I want to talk about some of the new research that's out on chemicals that either are linked to cancer or might be linked to cancer. And the reason I say that is, I don't know if you know this, some of you do, I lost my sister to cancer several years ago, actually. Of course, I think we've all been touched by cancer by somewhere in our lives. And I have friends that have passed from cancer, people I went to high school with, people I work with. I just got a phone call recently, well, patients, of course, but a patient just recently, 39 years old, passed of cancer. So it's a big issue. And it's something that not a lot of people are, they're talking about. We got to raise money for cancer research. But there's so much that we already know about cancer that nobody's doing anything about. And that's where my concern comes in, is what about the stuff we already know? Let's fix that, and let's continue research. I'm not saying don't do that, but it drives me nuts. For example, I'll go to somewhere, they'll be having a fundraiser to raise money for cancer research, and they're selling cookies or donuts, or it's a bake sale. Sugar is the thing that feeds the cancer cells. How insane is that? We're selling something to raise money to research the cancer that we know what we're selling can be causing problems. It's almost like job security. We're going to make sure we have enough people with cancer that we have to keep researching it as to how to cure it. Now, I am fascinated with the things that modern medicine can do. I am fascinated with surgery. I'm fascinated with stem cell research. That's a new thing, by the way, in cancer, is immune therapy research. Not necessarily stem cells, but immune therapy research, where we can stimulate your own immune system to attack the cancer cells, which makes sense, because why do we get cancer to begin with? Our body isn't functioning normally, and part of that is the immune system. So the immune therapy that we're working on now, we, cancer researchers, working on now, I'm real excited about, because the old way of doing it was remove the tumor, radiate it, give people chemotherapy, which is sometimes necessary. I'm not saying it's not, but let's move beyond that. Let's move to the point where we can get the body healthy enough that hopefully it can fight off the cancer cells itself. So there's a lot of cancer research is out now, and they're identifying a bunch of chemicals suspected of causing cancer. Now, if you listen to my shows in the past, you know that all of my predictions that I've made in the past 30 years or 35 years that I can think of have come to fruition. I've been right 100% of the time. I talked about how hydrogenated oils are so dangerous for the heart, and now we know that hydrogenated oils are probably the number one cause of heart disease. And margarine is the number one hydrogenated oil that most people were eating. Now, the laws have changed since then, and you can't produce things like, you have to get hydrogenated oils out of all food. Is it this year? I think it's this year, actually. I have to look the research again, that you can't be putting it in food anymore. Yay, I was right. And I talked about how the healthcare system was going to collapse, and yay, I was right. Well, I wasn't happy I was right on that. And we talk about how the trend now is for getting to the cause of the problems, not just treating the symptoms. And sure enough, in 2018, there's new guidelines out that say that before hospitals and healthcare facilities can give people opioids, they have to look at alternatives first. There could be non-steroidal anti-inflammatories, but one of the things they listed was chiropractic care. Yay, I was right. So let's assume I'm right on this. Oh, how about this? Let's assume I'm wrong. So what? I'm wrong. No harm, no foul. But if I'm right, which I am, you're going to be really happy that you listened to me 10, 20 years from now when you realize that the things that you avoided are now becoming banned, or they're illegal, or they're not allowed in most countries. You're going to be happy with me. President's Cancer Panel released a report stating that environmental chemicals were a grossly underestimated cause of cancers in the United States. And the American Cancer Society responded by saying the report put too much weight on environmental causes and not enough emphasis on known cancer causes, such as tobacco, smoke, and obesity. So here we are, a little battle going on here. Why don't we just do it all? That's my approach. Do it all, and who's ever wrong, so what? There's no harm in avoiding these chemicals. Hoping to bring a little clarity to the field of chemicals that may trigger cancers, the American Cancer Society, 3 government agencies, and International Agency for Research on Cancer published a list of chemicals so far not officially linked to cancer, but still in widespread use, and they have strong evidence that they may be causing cancer. So this is the next generation. Once again, we're going to put this in the Dr. Joe Was Right column 5 years from now. And there's a big column, by the way, the Dr. Joe Was Right column. So after reviewing the research, the authors picked about 20 chemicals that showed enough evidence of causing cancer in laboratory tests in animals that there's a strong likelihood that they can cause cancer in humans. So here we are, the next wave of, man, I wish I'd avoided that 20 years ago. A lot of these chemicals there's evidence that widespread human exposure can lead to problems. And many of these chemicals, such as things called nanoparticles, there's a word you probably never heard of, nanoparticles, are so new there's very little evidence in the safety of them or that they cause harm, yet hundreds of new products containing nanoparticles are being introduced every month. So what's a nanoparticle before we get into the chemicals? Nanoparticles are really, really, really tiny chemical. And the reason we like to use it, and this concerned me a while ago, I remember years ago somebody came to me and said, oh, there's this new supplement out, and it's nano nutrition. It's really, really, really small, so it gets absorbed really quickly. And I said, maybe it's not supposed to be absorbed really quickly. We've altered, we're not nice to fool Mother Nature. We messed with Mother Nature. And they said, oh, but it's absorbed better. And I said, but it's not the same thing. Your body has filters, and it's designed to absorb things at a certain rate. Maybe we're not supposed to absorb them. So nanoparticles, really, really tiny, a lot of times used in makeups and cosmetics because they go on so smoothly. And you put it on, you look so pretty because you got this smooth look. But now these nanoparticles are so small that they can get absorbed into your body. And when they get into your body, they can cause problems like, oh, I don't know, cancer. So I'm not a big fan of them. I'm a chiropractor. If it's the first time you're listening, I'm board certified in chiropractic, board certified in orthopedics, board certified in pain management, double board certified in nutrition, BS in nutrition, retired dietitian, award-winning author. This radio show that you're listening to is nationally syndicated and heard all around the world. It's heard coast to coast and around the world. And I've been in practice over 33 years, if I did the math right. Been around a long time. See a lot of patients, thousands, tens of thousands of patients. And so the information I give you is health care that really, really works. I am not against drugs. I'm not against surgery. I'm against unnecessary use of drugs and surgery, as are all my colleagues. I don't have any doctors that I associate with, neurosurgeons, vascular surgeons, MD, psychiatrists, that say we should be using more drugs and more surgery. They all say the same thing. Let's try to get to the cause. And the insurance companies now are catching on, and they're saying, we should be treating the cause and not the symptoms because it's a whole lot cheaper. So that's kind of cool. So most of the chemicals, back to the chemicals, I got sidetracked on nanoparticles there. Most of the chemicals on the list are industrial chemicals, things like black carbon. This is used to make synthetic rubber, welding fumes. But others can crop up pretty much everywhere in your life. And that's a problem. I remember a while ago, I was going to buy new tires, and I walked into one of the big box stores, and I walked into the tire section, and I smelled the tires, and it smelled like rubber tires. And I thought, man, these people have no idea how many toxic chemicals they're inhaling every single day. So I walked in. I said, what's the best tire? He said this. I said, put it on my car. I'll be back in an hour. And I left. Didn't want to sit there and smell it. So let's talk about some of the chemicals that you're finding everywhere from sunscreen to your drinking water and why these things are so dangerous. Because again, as a chiropractor, my concern is get you well as quickly as possible. We look at the nervous system. And as chiropractors, we look for pinched nerves and unpinch them. We check the digestive system in our offices, we do, because if you're not digesting your food properly or passing out your waste products properly, that can lead to a state of dis-ease, not ease, disease. Look at the word, pretty cool, dis-ease, not at ease. And we want to look at your diet. You have 100% control of your diet. And this is why I push so hard on nutrition, because these are the things that you can correct every single day. If you have a pinched nerve, if you've been in a car accident, a sports injury, you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, you can't adjust yourself. You can't put the bones back in place, so you need to come see us or somebody who's qualified, because I know this show's around the world. And the diet, the digestion, many times is the stomach is spasmed and pushing up against your diaphragm. And you need to manually pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm. Problem is, most doctors don't know how to do that. Most patients don't even know it exists. We're pretty good at it. So, normally functioning nervous system, digestive system, and nutrition are the things you need to obtain and maintain good health. So let's talk about some of the chemicals that are suspected to be linked to cancer and why I want you to avoid them now before the research comes out and you say, oh, it's too late. Atrazine, widely used as pesticides on corn, and it's so hazardous it's banned in Switzerland. Switzerland is the home country of the company that manufactures it. Switzerland won't let you use it, but you can send it to us. Thank you. Chloroform, that's a water disinfectant byproduct that can end up in your tap water. This is why I strongly advise you get a really good water filter. Water filter in my house is about 5 feet tall. In fact, it's time to change my water filter. I sent a message to the company and never got back to me. I just thought about that. Anyway, I digress. We have water filters on our website. You can go to our website and they're under-counter water filters. You can put them on your sink and at least do that. Because then the water you're washing your vegetables with, your fruits, you're drinking, you're doing your dishes in, at least that's pure water. So you can look on our website, drjoeesposito.com, under store, and you'll see the water filters for that. The whole house ones are pretty expensive. However, when you get healthy, I'm going to go off on a tangent again, surprise, surprise. When you get healthy, you save so much money, it's ridiculous. I mean, just going out to dinner. You're always going to get the cheapest thing on the menu if you eat well. Because the cheapest thing is always the healthiest thing. You're going to start doing things like bringing your own lunch with you. I know that sounds like a curse word to some people. But there are so many things you can bring for lunch that are going to save you $10 a meal. Easily. And gas and travel time. So you can work harder and make more money. I know people take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source every day. Most people take it because it's an amazing supplement and it's the minimum amount of nutrients that you need. But I've had people come to me and say, Doc, listen, I hear what you're saying about that. I don't take it for that. I take it because when I take my supplements, I eat less food and I make money by taking your supplements because I spend so much less. Song by Lita Adams, I think it was, way back. I can't remember. Before the turn of the century, actually. And the song was, I don't care how you get here, just get here if you can. I don't care how you get to eating well. I don't care how you get your body healthy, what your motivation is, I should say. Just get there. And that's the goal. So back to chemicals that may cause cancer. Diesel engine exhaust. I'm surprised that's not listed as a known carcinogen, but it's on the list that the government just put out as a possible carcinogen. I don't think anybody thinks that inhaling diesel exhaust is going to be good for you. DEHP, it's a chemical used in vinyls and plastic. They make shower curtains out of it. It makes it soft and pliable. It smells like plastic. If you open something up, a package, and it smells like plastic, chances are it's not good for you. It's probably going to have the DEHP in it. Formaldehyde. This is already a known carcinogen that causes pharynx and nasal cancers, but the chemical, which is used in hundreds of building products, so if you're in the construction industry, note this, has added to the list because it now may be linked to leukemia. How about that? So we already know it causes some cancer, and now we think it's going to cause more cancer. Now, you get formaldehyde from press board. If you're doing cabinets or floors that are press board, it can release formaldehyde. But a little-known source of formaldehyde is artificial sweetener. If you're doing artificial sweetener, aspartame. Aspartame breaks down to 3 components, aspartic acid, phenylalanine, and methyl esters. Methyl esters become methanol. Methanol is wood alcohol. Methanol converts into formaldehyde in your liver. So you're drinking formaldehyde or embalming fluid every time you use artificial sweetener like aspartames. I would suggest, of all the things I teach you, the alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, the big 7, the 7 deadly sins in nutrition, of all of them, alcohol, meat, sugar, dairy, coffee, soda, and artificial sweetener, the worst one you can put in your body is going to be aspartame. So I really want you to avoid that at all costs. Not if you can, you just have to do it. Lead and lead compounds. Well, we know that because lead is bad for you, right? Lead paint, anything before, was it 1978, I think it was? Any house built before then may have lead paint in it. You got to be careful with that. Polychlorinated biphenyls. How's that for a big word? PCBs. They're banned since 1980, since the 80s. But this flame retardant is still around in our food supply. And if something was sprayed with this flame retardant or made with this flame retardant before the 80s, it's still there. And by now, decades later, it's breaking down. That's why we're seeing these flame retardant couches may cause problems because you sit on them, dust comes up, and you inhale these flame retardants and these chemicals. Stain blockers. Chemicals that you spray on to block the stains can also release a lot of toxic chemicals. So we want to make sure the chemicals don't get in your body because they adversely affect your cells and they adversely affect your nervous system. I'm a chiropractor. What am I worried about? Your nervous system. So folks, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, numbness, tingling, digestive problems, nutritional advice, you're looking for nutritional advice, we would love the opportunity to be your doctors. So why don't you give us a call, or go to my website, you can give us a call. The website is drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, #1 Dr. Joe in the world, and we will set you up a time to come see us. We accept people with all insurances. Some people have such crazy deductibles. Some people have weird questions about in-network and out-of-network. Sometimes the insurance companies don't even know. We've called the insurance company with the same question and gotten different answers. So if you're confused, don't be surprised. We're professionals at this, and it gets confusing. So if you want to make an appointment, we accept people with all insurances, no insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. We want to be your doctors. So go to the website right now, make an appointment, drjoeesposito.com, and just Google Dr. Joe, #1 Dr. Joe in the world, and we will set you up a time to come see us. If you've ever been in a car accident, I have never seen an accident where the car was damaged where the occupants weren't. Ever. Need to get on that and get that fixed right away, folks. Trust me. I've had a lot of people not listen to me, and years and decades later, they're very unhappy that they didn't listen. So the website again, to make an appointment, drjoeesposito.com. So more chemicals that can be possibly linked to cancer. Styrene. Styrene is used to make polystyrene coffee cups and takeout containers. So wait a minute. I drink coffee every day, Dr. Joe, out of these cups that my boss has at the company. You shouldn't. Because when you put heat on styrene, it melts it just a little bit. And that little bit of styrene will melt, and those become chemicals that we know are endocrine disruptors. They mess with your hormones. And now they're possibly linked to cancer. So if you're going to drink coffee or tea or anything hot, I recommend you use either stainless steel or glass or ceramic. If you're going to get takeout food, this is a tough one now because almost all restaurants have these polystyrene containers because they're cheap. If you put the food in, try to make sure the food isn't hot. Never, ever put soup, something that's always hot, supposed to be hot, in a plastic container. It'll melt it just a little bit and put these endocrine disrupting chemicals in your body, and it can now be maybe linked to cancer. If you put cold food in your plastic container, let's assume you get a salad, don't eat it out of the container, this polystyrene container, because you're going to scratch it. And when you scratch it, you're going to get these little bits of these chemicals into your body. So if you put it in a to-go box, if you will, bring it home, put it on a glass plate, put it in ceramic, and eat it there. But the polystyrene, I'm promising you, all these things I'm talking about, I'm promising you, are going to become mainstream headline news in probably the next 5 to 10 years. Because once something is listed as a possible carcinogen, I don't know if any of them have ever been taken off that list. Because if there's enough evidence to make it a possible carcinogen, it inevitably, I feel, will be proven to be a known carcinogen. Titanium dioxide. This is an interesting one. Titanium dioxide is used as a colorant in paints, but it's also an ingredient in sunscreens. Researchers were particularly concerned about the nanoparticles of titanium dioxide. If you're just joining us, nanoparticles are when we take something and make it really, really, really small. Now, why would we put titanium dioxide as a nanoparticle? Titanium dioxide makes the sunscreen white, which is pretty, and we like pretty. But when we make it really small, you can rub on the sunscreen and the white goes away. It doesn't stick out. If you take zinc oxide, for example, and put it on your body, and it's not a nanomolecule, a nanoparticle, it leaves a white coating. And you may see, traditionally, you might see a lifeguard sitting on the stand with white all over his nose. Well, that's zinc oxide, and that's protecting the nose. It's a barrier. It's a mechanical barrier, a physical barrier to block the sun from hitting your skin. Well, if we make titanium dioxide really small, we can still put the sunscreen on, and it doesn't leave a white coating. It's not good. It's actually bad. So zinc oxide, much better choice than titanium dioxide in your sunscreens. And if it leaves a little white coating on it, that's the best. Because that means it's a mechanical blocking and it's not going to be absorbed into your pores and cause some real serious problems. Dry cleaning chemicals. Polychloroethylene. It's commonly used in dry cleaning. You walk into the dry cleaners, you know that smell? That's a problem. And there is studies done that people that work in dry cleaning facilities have higher risk of certain diseases than people that don't. And a lot of people believe, myself included, it's the perchloroethylene. I said it wrong. Perchloroethylene. And so if you get something dry cleaned, and I usually get my shirts laundered, but if I have to get pants or a jacket done, what I'll do is I'll hang it in the garage or outside and let it air out so that those chemicals can air out before I put it in my closet. Because I put it in my closet, I walk in my closet, I'm going to be inhaling those chemicals all the time. Now, not necessarily as a chemical on the radar, but shift work. And I'm in radio, believe me, everybody works around the clock here. A growing number of studies suggest that workers who don't stick to regular schedules are at an increased risk of getting cancer. Now, the understanding of what causes cancer in the general population has come about in large due to occupational exposures. We know that people that were exposed to asbestos occupationally got cancer. Well, guess what? We banned asbestos. It became a problem. A friend of mine's mother died from it. She didn't work in it, but her husband did. He came home, she did the laundry, she inhaled it, and it got in her lungs, and it killed her. Some people are more susceptible than others, and that's research for another generation probably as to why some people will get cancer if they're exposed to things and why some people won't. You don't know that until you're exposed and you get cancer, so don't take the chance. Now, it can take anywhere from 10 to 30 years from the time a chemical is introduced to the time scientists have enough information saying it absolutely causes cancer, but that's why I want you to start taking precautions now. Everything we just listed is real simple. You can avoid these things. So let's go through the step-by-step process you need to do to avoid the things that might cause cancer. We already said you need to buy a water filter. Water filters are pretty sophisticated these days, and they can remove things like atrazine, chloroform, and other industrial chemicals. American Cancer Society has on the list. Trichloroethylene is another one that's a solvent used in auto body shops. So, folks, I'm begging you, please get a water filter. Yes, the tap water in the United States is amazing. It's clean. It's safe-ish. But we don't filter out a lot of these chemicals. We also don't filter out drugs. So if somebody's taking birth control pills, let's say, or they're taking cholesterol medication or heart medication, it goes through their body, comes out through the urine and their feces, or when you take a shower, it comes out through your skin. And we have water plants where we recycle that water and make it drinkable. Fascinating process. However, we don't have filters to filter out birth control pills or cholesterol medications or little blue pills. And so these little tiny doses of drugs are still getting into our water supply. And if you have a good water filter, chances are you can filter out some of them. I'm not sure there's a water filter in the world except for reverse osmosis or distillation that's going to process out most of them. And even at that point, we're really poisoning our water. We got to be careful. And we should be drinking water. I drink a lot of water. I want you to drink a lot of water too. I want you to take your water with your Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. I use coconut milk, actually, or almond milk, whatever on sale. But if you're not willing to do anything else, at least take Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. They're supplements. They're on my website, drjoeesposito.com. And that's the minimum amount of nutrients that you should be taking every single day. And then what I do for my patients, we can do this online if we need to too, is put together a protocol of specific needs for you. But generally speaking, everybody needs the Super Greens and the Essential Source. Even children, it's a great way to get kids to eat their raw fruits and vegetables and supplements. Take the Super Greens and Essential Source when they're eating solid food. Frozen banana, a little bit of coconut or almond milk, whip it up into a smoothie. Kids love it, and it's great. And I find that the kids who take it do extremely well in all aspects of life. It really helps their brain work a lot more efficiently because so many of us are depleted in nutrients, and we use nutrients every day. We need to replace them. That's why we have the Super Greens and the Essential Source. Those are on the website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. They're also available on Amazon. If you have an Amazon account, you can pick them up there. Now, folks, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. My doctors would love to meet with you. So would I. And try to get you well and keep you well. So if you want to make an appointment, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. You can make the appointment online. You can give us a call if you want to. We accept people with all insurances, no insurances, car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp cases. We get referrals from orthopedic surgeons, neurosurgeons, insurance companies send us their patients. Patients come from all over the world. Ohio, just recently, Ohio, Romania, Japan, Germany. So folks want to get well, folks. And if I'm right in your backyard, or we're right in your backyard, how cool is that? So again, go to the website, make your appointment, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. Hey, don't go anywhere. We're going to be right back. Hey, folks, thanks for being here. Do appreciate you taking time out of your day. What we're talking about today are possible chemicals that may be linked to cancer. And the American Cancer Society, President's Panel on Cancer, they're saying these look pretty bad. And we're going to put them on the warning list. Like, you probably want to try to avoid them. We may not have enough research to definitely prove it causes it, but it sure looks that way. Now, here's my thought process on that. Don't do it. Why take that chance? If the American Cancer Society is already saying, we don't think these are really good things, chances are, I would probably give it 100% chances are, we're going to find out that they do cause cancer. So you want to avoid them now, because just because we say it doesn't cause cancer doesn't mean it doesn't cause cancer yet. It will. All in time. Natalie Merchant's song. What was it? Can't think of it now. One of the lines in the song was all in time. Noah's Dove. There you go. From 10,000 Maniacs. All in time. And it's going to happen, folks. I promise you. It's going to happen. So why you want to expose yourself to these things if you don't have to? And a lot of the chemicals are found on pesticides. They're in water. They're industrial chemicals. So one of the easiest things you can do to avoid these chemicals is eat organic. Now, there's a big problem, because now the hydroponic world is trying to say that their food is organic. Well, it's probably better than the things that are sprayed with pesticides and chemicals and herbicides and tranquilizers and genetically modified junk that's put into these foods. But I'm not sure it's necessarily purely organic. So the word organic is trying to get diluted, and I'm not happy with that. That being said, if it's organic, at least you got a much better shot of it being pure. You can always grow your own if you want to, but I do. But it's a lot of work. So if you switch to organic food, you're not only eliminating exposure to harmful pesticides like atrazine, which is sprayed on corn a lot, you're also supporting a food system that doesn't pollute the water supply and keeping atrazine out of the water. So you're doing a double whammy. And so I try to eat as much organic as I possibly can. It's just the way it is. Now, if I go out to lunch, if I have a meeting, if I have maybe I'm going on a date, I may not always get organic food. Well, my body is a lot healthier than most people, so if I am exposed to something, chances are my body can fight it off. So I want you to consider that too, that if you're healthy and then you are exposed to something, you're less likely to have an adverse reaction. Bring your own coffee cups and food containers. This sounds so bizarre, but it really does work. Each time you drink out of polystyrene foam cups, or you take out food in a foam container, you're being exposed to styrene, which leaches from the plastic when it becomes in contact with hot food. If you bring a mug or your own glass container, you anticipate you're going to need a doggy bag. It's not a bad idea. Sound weird? It is. Does it work? It does. Plus, the polystyrene, I don't know if that ever breaks down. It's not something that's biodegradable. So you're saving the environment. You're saving the trash. You're saving your health. Not a bad thing to do. If you know you're going to have a doggy bag, it's okay to bring it. And restaurants are getting used to things like this now. You don't have to think that you're being weird. Now, if it's your first date, you may not want to do that. They may think you're a little odd. But, anybody goes out with me already knows I'm odd. But you want to start considering staying away from the plastics. And at work, instead of using the polystyrene cups, maybe bring your own cup. I have my own. Of course, we don't have polystyrene cups here in the office. But I have my own, and I just bring it with me. And I wash it out and reuse it. So if there's a way you can do that, much better too. I want you to be antibacterial. The heck does that mean? Studies published in the Journal of Environmental Science and Technology suggest that triclosan, which is the main ingredient in antibacterial soaps and cleaners, can react with chlorine in your drinking water and form something called chloroform. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention say that warm water and soap are just as effective at cleaning germy hands as antibacterial soaps. So why wouldn't you just want to use soap and water instead of an antibacterial soap? Because triclosan, when it gets into your body, is an endocrine disruptor. It messes with your hormones. It acts like estrogen. And if you've got little children who are already being bombarded with chemicals, and now you're putting this antibacterial scrub or soap or lotion on your body every single day, you're messing with their hormones. Not good. Triclosan is dangerous. And what drives me nuts is when I see kids with their backpacks and they have this little thing of hand sanitizer hanging off their backpack. Chances are it contains triclosan. So why would you run the risk of potentially exposing your children to this potential cancer causer if you don't have to? There are natural hand sanitizers you can buy. If you want to make your own, I think I have a recipe on my website. If I don't, send me an email and I'll put it back up there again. And if I remember correctly, it's witch hazel, some type of alcohol. You could use vodka, you could use rubbing alcohol, and then some tea tree oil. Tea tree oil is antibiotic, antiviral, and antifungal. The alcohol kills viruses and germs. The witch hazel is an astringent. It tightens up your skin. So there you made it yourself, almost free, a whole lot less expensive than what you're paying for, and it's a lot safer. Not a bad thing. Don't drink it, although it's alcohol. I don't know if you drink witch hazel, what happens? I have no idea. Be anti-vinyl. Not anti-records, of course, because records are cool, man. Easiest way to avoid exposure to something called DEHP, which is a chemical used to make plastic soft, is avoid them. Shower curtains, floor tiles, linoleum. Anything that's a soft, supple plastic probably has this DEHP in it. The plastic containers are wrappings. I couldn't even think of the word there. Like if you buy sheets, if you buy a comforter, it's in these plastic bags. That's plastic bag, I guess the right word. Oftentimes they contain a DEHP. That's another reason why you want to wash anything you buy. I don't care if you buy it from a discount store or thrift store, if you buy it brand new. A lot of these products, clothes especially, have chemicals on them. Always wash them. And try to wash them in hot water if you can. And I'm going to go off on a tangent for a second. When you're doing laundry, certain things shouldn't be washed in hot water, of course. But you always want to wash your underwear and your socks in hot water. And the reason is that underwear especially can have a lot of viruses, germs, bacteria, E. coli. And so washing them in cold water may not be a good idea. But you're thinking to yourself, but Dr. Joe, I want my unmentionables to be very pretty and hold their elastic together, and I always wash them in cold water. I understand that. I'd rather you wear out your undies and buy new ones than wash them in cold water. Because if there's E. coli or other bacteria that come from your netherworlds and get on your underwear, and then you recycle them, so to speak, and put it back on your body, you touch it while you're folding it, I'm not happy with that. So I'm a big fan of hot water whenever possible. Same thing with sheets. Mattress pads. You know, a lot of times you'll change your sheets, but that little thing that wraps around your mattress, the mattress pad, you want to wash that in hot water too, because your sweat, your urine, your spit, that all builds up in there, and then little critters start to live in your mattress. And the easiest thing to do is just wash it in hot water and kill it. You can use a non-chlorine bleach if you want to, but killing these little critters is a real good idea. But we talked about being anti-vinyl. Anything that smells plasticky, you don't want to expose yourself to. Wash your hands. Vinyl may be unavoidable in some cases. You may touch things. You may shake hands with people. You pick things up in a grocery store. You push the grocery store cart. You want to wash your hands as often as you can, but make sure you're using non-antibacterial soap. I use something called Castile soap. Castile soap is a liquid. They have different scents to it. They have peppermint. They have almond, vanilla. Love that stuff. It's in my showers. It's in my sinks. Everywhere I go, I have Castile soap. And once you start using Castile soap to shower with, you'll never go back to another soap. It rinses off so cleanly. Your skin feels so good. Your skin feels so soft and moist. There's no reason not to do this because you have the option. If you're a gardener, you probably want to test your soil. You go to the extension office in your town, and many times that's associated with a university near you, and they'll test your soil to see what's in there, because I don't want you growing an organic garden and then having a bunch of lead and toxic chemicals in there. Do your own laundry if you can, because then you could use the right kind of soaps. I always recommend you use at least a non-scented clothes soap. I use natural ones. They're relatively inexpensive, $8, $10 for a big bottle of it. It'll last you forever. Because when you wash your clothes, those chemicals are touching your skin, and your skin is a sponge. Anything that comes in contact with your skin is going to be absorbed. So you can use patches if you want to do drugs, you do supplements, and you can do detoxification with patches, help you get off cigarettes. So anything that comes in contact with your skin is going to get absorbed. So if you're going to use a soap or a shampoo or a shaving cream that's toxic if consumed, I wouldn't want to put it on my skin. That's why I like to do my own laundry if I can. If you're getting new cabinets put in, try to get hardwood and not press board. Because the press board, or that goes for floors as well, or any renovations, look like solid wood, but many times they outgas formaldehydes. And you can even ask your contractor, can you use formaldehyde-free glue and formaldehyde-free paint? I have hardwoods throughout my house and tile. If you put in hardwoods, make sure they're pre-finished. I prefer you don't put down unstained hardwoods and then sand it and stain it, because that stain can outgas for months. That smell of varnish or that smell of paint, not the best thing for you. Sunscreen, we kind of brushed on that earlier. If you're going to do sunscreen, make sure it doesn't have nanoparticles in it. I prefer you use zinc oxide, but if you rub it on and it disappears and it's clear, not a good choice. When you rub it on, it has a little white film to it. That's probably a much healthier sunscreen because it's going to mechanically block it. Because nanoparticles of titanium dioxide or even zinc oxide that may make it past your skin into your bloodstream, they might cause brain damage, colon damage, and or cancer. Big problems. Now, I didn't want to make this show about doom and gloom, so relax. I know it sounds weird, but a lot of these chemicals are inevitably going to become part of your life. Formaldehyde, for exists naturally in wood, so it's going to be some there. But what you want to do is do your best to protect yourself from the things you can control. And you realize that some of these cancer-causing chemicals like diesel engine exhaust are going to be hard to avoid if you're stuck in traffic especially. So keep your body healthy. That's my whole message that I've been doing for 35 years now of lecturing. If you have a pinched nerve and you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, fix it. Don't suffer. Pain is a warning sign. Pain is telling you that something's wrong. So if you have a pinched nerve, that probably is a chiropractic case. Now, it may be a ruptured disc. It may be a fracture. You may need surgery. You may need spinal injections. I'm okay with that. But try to do the most conservative thing you can first and then build from there. So take care of yourself. If you have acid reflux or heartburn, chances are your stomach is pushed up against your diaphragm. And we need to massage or pull the stomach down away from the diaphragm to get the whole colon to relax. It stimulates what's called the parasympathetic nervous system. And the parasympathetic nervous system controls a lot of your functions. Blood pressure, pulse, sleep, going to the bathroom, romance. These are all parasympathetic functions. And if your parasympathetic nervous system is constantly being irritated because of a spasm muscle or a stomach up against the diaphragm, we may have to manually pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. So much of healthcare is physical, not chemical. And we keep trying to treat it chemically. And it's important to take supplements like Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source. I have a bunch of other supplements too, by the way, folks. If you go to my website, drjoeesposito.com, we have a colon cleanser. We have a seasonal booster. If I feel like a cold is coming on, I'll take the seasonal booster. I'll have the wellness tonic. The wellness tonic stimulates the immune system with pau d'arco and olive leaf extract. We have my books, Eating Right for the Health of It, Prescription for Extreme Health. So there's a lot of good information. I archive my radio shows there. Go to my website, and then click on the link. It's under media. That brings you to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Every time we do a radio show, every time we do a lecture, we do little clips, we'll put it on a YouTube channel. We'll send it out to you, no charge. It's free. You can delete it if you want to, or you can listen or watch it. It's your call. It's all free. drjoeesposito.com. But at least get the Super Greens and the Essential Source to start out. And again, the intestinal cleanser if your bowels aren't moving. If you want to keep yourself, we ran out of the seasonal booster and the wellness tonic. And man, you would have thought we beat somebody's child up. Where is it? Oh my gosh, winter's coming. I got to take this. It's the only thing that wards off my cold and flu. So we got it back on there again. So that's there as well. All on the website, drjoeesposito.com. Archive radio shows, videos, drjoeesposito.com. If you have questions, send them to me through the website. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. And in a second, we're going to talk about, should we take an aspirin to prevent cancer? Interesting concept. So hang on for that. Now, folks, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, we have offices in Marietta, Duluth, and Stockbridge. So go to my website, once again, drjoeesposito.com, And you can book an appointment online. You can call us to make an appointment. We accept people with insurance, no insurance, car accidents, sports injuries, workers' comp cases, children. I don't say this enough, children. I love when children come in because they respond so much faster than us old folks. So cool to watch a child get well. Now, a lot of you are sitting on your fanny and saying, I've been meaning to call Dr. Joe, and I've been meaning to make an appointment with his doctors. I just haven't done it. Okay, get off your fanny and get it done. The longer you wait, the harder it is to fix something. So the website's there 24 hours a day. You can book right online if you want to or call us, drjoeesposito.com. I have never seen a car accident ever where the occupants weren't damaged if the car was damaged. So if the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. Get on it, folks. Stop waiting. Stop suffering. drjoeesposito.com. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about, should we take an aspirin to prevent cancer? This is an interesting concept. I want to get it done before the show's over here. Now, we've long recognized preventive role of a daily aspirin for things like heart disease. Now it appears you might be able to kill two birds with one stone. Low-dose aspirin may help prevent certain types of cancer as well. So how does it work? Well, Nobel Prize in Medicine went to a team that discovered how aspirin work. There's enzymes called COX enzymes, or cyclooxygenase, that's abbreviated COX, take the pro-inflammatory omega-6 fatty acids that your body makes, so that's in your diet, so omega-6 fatty acids, and you get them mainly from things like chicken and eggs, but they're really everywhere. Vegetable oil, soybean oils, cottonseed oil. I would never eat cotton. Why would I want to eat cottonseed? Corn oil, very high in omega-6 fatty acids. Now, the enzymes take the arachidonic acid, the omega-6, and turn it into inflammatory mediators like thromboxane, which produce thrombosis, which is clots, and prostaglandins, which cause inflammation. So the bottom line is omega-6 fatty acids with COX enzymes cause inflammation. Aspirin suppresses these enzymes. So the less thromboxane you have means fewer clots. The less prostaglandin you have means less pain, less swelling, and less fever. But prostaglandins also dilate the lymphatic vessels inside tumors. So lymph is a fluid that flows through your body that filters out junk. So it opens up the lymph vessels, allowing the cancer cells to spread. So one of the ways cancer tries to kill us is by boosting COX enzyme activity. Okay? So that's not good. Well, if you boost the COX enzymes, if you boost the COX enzymes, that's a problem. You want to block the COX enzymes. So the cancer can actually trick your body into boosting the COX enzymes to spread itself. That's one of the ways we think aspirin can prevent cancer, by counteracting tumor attempts to pry open the lymphatic fluid, the lymphatic vessels, and let it spread throughout the body, because the reduction in mortality due to some cancers occurs within 2 or 3 years after taking aspirin. So this is how we hypothesize that it helps stop the spread of cancer by blocking the COX enzymes. It's a COX inhibitor. So now the benefits are pretty amazing. The only way aspirin could save us that fast is by suppressing the growth and spread of tumors that already exist. Aspirin appeared also to cut the risk of metastasis in half, particularly in things like adenocarcinomas such as colon cancer. So wait a minute. You're saying that cancer might help block the spread of aspirin might block the spread of cancer? Well, maybe. That's what it looks like. The problem is this, though. What happens is if you take a lot of aspirin, you increase your risk of bleeding, even at low-dose aspirin. So you might have fewer heart attacks, fewer strokes, and fewer cancers, but now you can bleed internally. After 74 years old, by the way, this doesn't work. So if you're under 74, taking aspirin might work. Over 74, you increase the risk of dying from bleeding too much. So the aspirin phytonutrient, the thing that works, isn't just found in things like willow trees, but it's in other plants as well. This explains why the active ingredient in aspirin is found in people that don't even take aspirin. Excuse me. So here's the kick. If you drink just one fruit smoothie, within an hour and a half, your levels of the aspirin components start to go up. So you can see one smoothie isn't going to do anything. But what if you ate fruits and vegetables and smoothies every single day? You're raising your level of salicylic acid, or salicylates it's called, and that's the thing that blocks the COX enzyme, which then reduces swelling, inflammation, and can stop the spread of cancer. So now suddenly we have something that might work. Salicylic acid the anti-inflammatory effects of the active ingredient called salicylic acid, and the concentrations seen in vegetarians have been shown to inhibit the inflammatory COX enzymes. So if you're eating a plant-based diet, you're producing more of these, you're getting more of this salicylic acid, which is blocking the COX enzymes, which is reducing inflammation, which now can reduce the risk of cancer. However, you don't get the risk of internal bleeding that you get with aspirin. So to answer the question, should I take aspirin to block cancer? My suggestion is no, you should be eating a plant-based diet to get the active ingredient that's in cancer higher in your blood system, which will then help stop the spread. So effectively, all aspirin flowing through your system may work, but the plant eaters must have better health. But you would think if it's floating around in your blood, it would also increase the risk of ulcers and internal bleeding. And in fact, it's the exact opposite. Vegetarians appear to have lower risk of ulcers and bleeding for both men and women. So for the general population, by eating a plant-based diet instead of taking aspirin, you may not just get the benefits without the risks, you get a lot more benefits. One of them being it can help reduce your risk of cancer. Also, as a chiropractor, I find that people eat a plant-based diet have lower levels of pain. Why? Salicylic acid blocks the COX enzyme, which causes the inflammation, which causes the pain. A good plant-based diet is going to keep those levels higher in your blood to help block the enzyme to help reduce inflammation. So dark green leafy vegetables are great. Also, they're a great source of nitrates. Nitrates convert into nitric oxide, which opens up your blood vessels and increase circulation, which can help reduce pain, help your brain work better, help your love life improve. We got to increase circulation there. So green leafy vegetables are great. Beets. I like to recommend beet powder because regular beets are high in sugar. A beet powder, a lot of nitrates. Arugula, loaded with nitrates, good nitrates. If you have nitrates and you heat them at a very high temperature and there's a protein involved, like a meat, for example, you get nitrosamines. Nitrosamines now can cause cancer. So nitrates can be good if you heat it with a protein like a meat, not a good thing. So the meat has the natural nitrates in it, but it also has the amino acids in it to create nitrosamines. That's why if you want to avoid cancer, you absolutely positively want to avoid all grilling of meat. That being said, if you're not willing to avoid grilling meat, because the grilling creates the nitrosamines, if you're not willing to avoid grilling, I want you to marinate the meat overnight with some type of acid, like vinegar or lemon juice, with rosemary. We have big rosemary bushes outside our office, by the way, folks. If you want to come cut as much rosemary as you want, cut it down, marinate the meats with it. You reduce the risk of the carcinogenics by about 90%. Now, I don't eat meat. I haven't had meat in over 30 years. But if you're going to eat meat, make sure it's organic and make sure if you are going to grill it, which I don't think you should, I'm giving you an option there. So those are ways you can help reduce cancer and help lower your pain levels, because as a chiropractor, we want to reduce pain. We get people on a plant-based diet. We also get them on Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source, which are fruits and vegetables powdered with prebiotics, probiotics, digestive enzymes. One scoop of Essential Source is about 10 servings of raw fruits and vegetables. So for about $1, you're getting the equivalent of about 10 servings of raw fruits and vegetables in a powder form. That tastes great. I don't know how to make it easier for you, folks. I don't know how to get it, unless I brought it to your house and force-fed you. Go to my website. I'd recommend you do the Super Greens, the Essential Source, at least. And then we go from there. But those are on the website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe. You can order them. We ship them right out to you. Go on automatic reorder so you don't have to think about it. Also available on Amazon if you have an Amazon account. So that's the starting point. Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain. Get chiropractic care, most likely to fix that. Fix the stomach. Now you have a health care plan. Most people have health insurance, but they don't have a health care plan. We want to be your doctors. And a lot of information that you can get is on my website, drjoeesposito.com. Archive radio shows, videos, it's all there. Now, folks, if you want to make an appointment to come see us, I think you should. I think you should stop suffering and get in here. The number, you go to the website, drjoeesposito.com, and book an appointment. We accept people with all insurances, no insurances, car accidents, sports injuries. If you've ever been in a car accident and the car was damaged, you were damaged 100% of the time. So get off your fanny. Stop suffering. Stop saying, I'm going to do this next week, next month, next year. I got to go see Dr. Joe. Do it right now. Most people are extremely happy that they did that. So once again, the website, drjoeesposito.com, or just Google Dr. Joe, #1 Dr. Joe in the world. Hey, folks, thanks for listening. Tell your friends about the show. We'll catch you next time.